Did you know that, for the first time in history, we are witnessing a profound shift in funeral practices as a growing number of people are now choosing cremation over traditional burial? This change represents a significant departure from long-standing customs and reflects broader societal and cultural transformations. Historically, traditional burials have been the norm, rooted in deeply held traditions and cultural practices. However, recent trends show that cremation is becoming increasingly popular, with experts predicting that up to 70% of people might opt for cremation rather than traditional burial within the next decade. This dramatic rise raises an important question for Christians. Should we consider cremation as a viable option for ourselves or our loved ones? In this video, we will explore this topic in depth, examining the implications of cremation from a Christian perspective and considering how this practice aligns with our faith and beliefs. We'll delve into 4 key questions in this discussion. 1. What is cremation? Understanding the process and what it entails. 2. What does the Bible say about cremation, if anything? Exploring biblical references and interpretations. 3. Will cremation impact my resurrected and glorified body at the rapture? Investigating the theological implications. 4. As a Christian considering cremation, what factors should I weigh in my decision? Evaluating personal and spiritual considerations. First, let's clarify what cremation involves. Cremation is a process where the deceased body is subjected to extremely high temperatures within a specially designed chamber known as a cremation furnace or retort. These chambers can reach temperatures between 1,400 and 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, 760 to 1,100 degrees Celsius. The intense heat causes the body's organic matter to combust and vaporize, reducing it to its basic elements. Soft tissues, including skin and internal organs, are entirely consumed by the flames and converted into gases, which are released into the atmosphere. What remains after the process is primarily bone fragments, which are carefully collected and processed. These fragments are ground into a fine, powdery substance, commonly referred to as cremated remains or ashes. This method of reducing the body to its elemental form provides families with a manageable and flexible way to handle and memorialize the remains. The concept of cremation intersects with several biblical themes, particularly the idea that humans are made from dust and eventually return to dust. This notion is reflected in Genesis 3 verse 19, which states, "By the sweat of your face you shall eat bread, till you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken. For you are dust, and to dust you shall return." This passage emphasizes the transient nature of human life and the return to the earth from which we originated. It suggests a natural cycle of creation and dissolution, aligning with the idea that cremation symbolizes a return to the fundamental elements of our existence. This alignment with biblical teachings provides a sense of continuity with ancient traditions and reinforces our connection to the natural world. In today's society, cremation is gaining popularity due to various social, economic, and environmental factors. Research and surveys indicate that more people are turning to cremation over traditional burial methods, which are often perceived as less practical and more expensive. One significant factor driving this shift is heightened awareness of environmental concerns. Traditional burials typically involve land use for cemeteries, embalming chemicals, and materials like caskets and burial vaults, all of which can have substantial environmental impacts. These practices can deplete natural resources and potentially introduce chemical pollutants into the soil. In contrast, cremation is seen as a more sustainable option, requiring fewer resources and having a lower ecological footprint. The process of cremation does not necessitate land use or the creation of permanent memorials, making it a more flexible and environmentally friendly choice for many individuals and families. Additionally, the lower cost associated with cremation compared to traditional burials can be an appealing factor for those seeking a more economical solution during a difficult time. Now, let's explore the Bible's perspective on cremation. While traditional burial practices are often depicted in the Old Testament, reflecting the customs and cultural practices of that era, the Bible does not explicitly endorse or condemn cremation. Traditional burials were considered a mark of respect and honor, as seen in the case of Abraham purchasing the cave of Machpelah for Sarah's burial, a practice that highlights the cultural significance of respectful interment. Genesis 23. The Old Testament presents burial as deeply ingrained in Jewish customs, reinforcing its role as a solemn and reverent way of handling the deceased. However, there are specific instances of burning mentioned in the Bible. For example, in 1 Samuel 31 verses 12 to 13, the bodies of King Saul and his sons were burned by the men of Jabesh-Gilead to honor them after their bodies had been desecrated by the Philistines. This act of burning was meant to prevent further dishonor and provide a measure of respect for the fallen. Similarly, King Josiah's actions in 2 Kings 23 verse 16, where he burned the bones of false priests as part of his religious reforms, were driven by a desire to purge the land of idolatry rather than indicating a broader practice of cremation. These instances demonstrate that while burning was used in certain contexts, it was not necessarily indicative of a widespread endorsement of cremation. Regarding resurrection, the Bible offers a hopeful and reassuring message about the transformative power of God. In 1 Corinthians 15 verses 42 to 44, the Apostle Paul explains, "So is it with the resurrection of the dead. What is sown is perishable. What is raised is imperishable. It is sown in dishonor. It is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness. It is raised in power." This passage emphasizes that our earthly bodies, which may be subject to decay and corruption, will be transformed into glorious, imperishable forms in the resurrection. The process of decomposition, whether through traditional burial or cremation, is part of the natural cycle of life and death. The key message is that God's power is not limited by the physical state of our remains. Whether buried or cremated, the promise of resurrection assures believers that God will resurrect and glorify their bodies in a form beyond earthly limitations. This transformation is a testament to God's omnipotent ability to recreate and renew life. Thus, the choice between burial and cremation does not affect the ultimate hope of resurrection. The essential belief is that God's divine power transcends the physical conditions of our earthly bodies, offering the promise of new life and eternal glory. Finally, if you are considering cremation, it is crucial to reflect on how you wish to memorialize your loved ones. Cremation offers a range of flexible options for handling and commemorating the remains, allowing you to choose how they are kept or dispersed. For example, you might select a beautiful urn to hold the ashes or choose to scatter them in a location of personal significance, such as a cherished park or a special place that held meaning for the deceased. Additionally, some families opt to incorporate ashes into jewelry or create unique memorial items, which can serve as a tangible and personal reminder of their loved one's presence. This flexibility contrasts with traditional burial, which typically involves placing the body in a grave with a headstone, a more permanent and fixed form of memorialization. The decision between cremation and traditional burial can depend on personal values and preferences, such as the desire for a permanent resting place or the significance of having a physical site for remembrance. While a traditional grave provides a specific location for visitors to pay their respects, cremation allows for a wider range of memorial practices. This flexibility can be particularly meaningful if you or your loved ones have specific wishes regarding how remains are handled and honored. It's important to consider what will bring the most comfort and meaning to you and your family when making this decision. Although the Bible does not explicitly address cremation, Christian principles guide us to approach all aspects of death with reverence and respect. As long as cremation is conducted in a manner that honors the deceased and aligns with Christian beliefs about resurrection, it can be a respectful and appropriate choice. I hope this discussion has provided valuable insights and supports you in making an informed decision. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with friends or family who might benefit from this information, and subscribe to our channel for more content on important topics like this. Don't forget to leave a comment below with your thoughts and experiences. Your insights are valuable and could assist others in similar situations. Remember, as we navigate life's profound choices, every decision made with faith is a step towards eternal hope. Thank you for watching, and God bless.